If you want to get in contact with me, the best way to do it is on Instagram. If you just want to say what up, if you want to tell me you love my videos, if you want to tell me you hate my videos, the best way to do it is on Instagram. Peace, y'all. Jonny Fastlane here. So this weekend was Tycoon weekend here in New York with 50 Cent, and it was lit. Plus, Nicki Minaj names her top 5s, and Freddie Gibbs completely loses his mind. Let's talk hip-hop.
I'm a big fan, baby. Hey,
Cause I'm a friend. 50 Cent.
What up, yeah? What up, yeah?
This beat dropping, don't fit the trunk, really.
Alright, yo, so this was dope, right? So, alright, 50 Cent had Tycoon weekend this weekend, right? He was at Pier 115. He was at the Madison Square Garden. He was at Slate. Like, he was all over New York, multiple days, having, like, parties, pool parties, everything. That was at Pier 115 with the pool party, right? Crazy, right? And everybody was there, right? So, I don't know if y'all remember, but a couple months ago, when 50 Cent headlined the Masters of the Ceremony thing, when he brought Snoop Dogg to New York, Snoop was like, yo, I gotta drive your car. I gotta drive this pretty ass car, you know what I'm saying? And Snoop was like, yo, please let me drive it, 50, right? Well, this weekend, 50 finally let Snoop drive his car.
I ride in the Gold Joint. You want me to ride with you, though? You gonna be going mad fast, crazy? I know how you drive, man. I'm on some relaxed shit, bro.
I'm chill.
I know you drive crazy.
Nah, I'm chill, bro.
And I know cars gonna be flying. You got Snoop Dogg in New York City, Tycoon weekend.
Well, I mean, he was kind of driving it because he was just sitting in traffic, but he was attempting to at least drive the car, right? I mean, everybody was there. YF and Lucci was there. DJ Envy, Casanova, OT Genesis, K Slay, Fabulous. It was just like mad people there. I know I'm forgetting people, but it was crazy. Snoop, of course. A Boogie with the hoodie, Don Q. So mad New York people. Of course, you're gonna have Fab from Brooklyn. You know, A Boogie with the hoodie and Don Q from the Bronx. 50, you know, is from Queens, but you know, it was his party. Snoop, you know what I'm saying? It was just mad people there, right? And yo, it's funny, right? YF and Lucci looks mad small next to 50 Cent, right? This was dope, right? But the funny thing about this whole situation was everybody was chilling, no fights, no violence, no nothing like that, which was dope, right? But the funny thing about the situation is that Wendy Williams, she lives in New Jersey, right? Which is like 15 minutes away from Manhattan in New York, right? And so I guess she wanted to go to the party too, and she tried to get in.
Oh, there you go.
Wendy Williams not being able to get into the club.
But they denied Wendy Williams entry to the party, right? Now, this is funny, right? And I have got to say, right? I love Wendy Williams. A lot of people have problems with her, but I ain't got no problems with Wendy Williams, right? And that was back in the day, like when I was a baby, like an infant or whatever. If Wendy Williams says something to piss y'all off, then hey, that's 1989 problems, right? But anyway, what I'm saying is that I love Wendy Williams, and she's actually like one of my inspirations. Also, Lord Jamar. Wait. Should I tell y'all about my inspirations or should I wait? You know what? New video alert. I'm gonna tell y'all my inspirations. People that influence Jonny Fastlane to do what he do, you know, in another video. But anyway, I love Wendy Williams, but as much shit as she be talking about 50 Cent, she must have been crazy to think that she was gonna get into a 50 Cent party, you know what I'm saying? So they should have denied her entry to the party, right? Which, you know, fine. I don't even know why Wendy Williams tried to go to the party anyway, but this was hilarious, yo. But anyway, so 50 Cent was just having mad fun all weekend, chilling. Don Q was shooting like shots at Hennessy in girls' mouths. Like, it was just a crazy party, a crazy weekend, and it was pretty dope, right? So let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
I definitely would never have a top 5 without Wayne, that's for sure.
All right, so Nicki Minaj goes on Joe Budden's podcast. Y'all remember last week Nicki Minaj had Joe Budden on Cream Radio, and then they were like, all right, now Nicki, you got to come to the Joe Budden podcast. So that's what they did, right? Which was cool. cool. So they asked her about a lot of stuff, right? But one of the things that they asked her was her top 5, right? And I have never really heard Nicki's top 5, so this was pretty dope and interesting, right? So she says the usual suspects, right? And when I say usual suspects, I mean she says Wayne, Jay-Z, and Biggie. She names them like right off the top of her head real quick, right? But then she pauses a second and kind of gives like a little disclaimer, and it's like, see, people in my top 5 are not really the biggest rappers or the most famous rappers or the huge, most celebrated rappers, but I just know that sitting down and writing lyrics can be hard, and for them to consistently write fire means something to me. So then she named 3 more rappers, right? So she already had 3. She only had to name 2 more rappers, but she actually named 6 rappers to go in her top 5, right? Which is crazy because for me personally, my top 5 has 6 rappers in it too. But anyway, so back to Nicki Minaj. So the other 3 rappers she named, well, she named Biggie, Jay-Z, and Lil Wayne, right? And of course, she's always going to name Lil Wayne because that is the person who brought her into the game. But then she also names Jadakiss, Fabulous, and Joe Budden, right? And I don't think that she named Joe Budden just because he was sitting there. I think that she was serious about how Joe Budden is a dope lyricist who's really consistent or who writes fire all the time, right? And so Joe Budden was kind of whispering like in the background saying, Joe Budden, or he actually said jump off, but he's trying to say like, you know, name me, but he was just being funny and kind of trolling her a little bit. She didn't hear him whispering that, but then she named Joe Budden anyway, which is pretty cool, right? So for me, I said this before, but my top 5 also has 6 rappers in it, right? Wayne is in my top 5 just like Nicki is. Jay-Z's in my top 5 just like Nicki is. Nicki's in my top 5 actually. And then I got DMX, Jadakiss, and did I say Jadakiss already? Jadakiss, which is also in Nicki's top 5. And I forgot the 5th one, right? I always forget the 5th one sometime, right? But anyway, so I think that this is dope, and it just kind of lets me know like where her influence comes from and kind of like where her mentality and her mind is, right? But she also said that she'd rather talk about her top 50, but of course they didn't really have all that time for that, and they were actually supposed to talk about her top 50 on Queen Radio with Joe Budden because Joe Budden was number 3 on the top 50 list, but instead she used all that time to curse Joe Budden out, which was funny as hell. So this is dope, man. Let me know what your top 5 is in the comments below.
I'm riding Chase. Straight up, man. Fuck Colin Kaepernick. All y'all niggas marched for Colin Kaepernick, and he took a settlement and ain't tell y'all what he got or nothing. You know what I'm saying? He settled. So let it go. Y'all hating on Jay-Z for trying to own something in the NFL.
Freddie Gibbs, right, said F Colin Kaepernick, right, in regards to like the whole Jay-Z thing and Jay-Z signing to the NFL, partnering with the NFL, doing a deal with them or whatever you want to call it, right? So for y'all that don't know, and I kind of talked about this last week, and y'all know because this is a huge situation, right, that historically Jay-Z basically denounced the NFL and also denounced the Super Bowl halftime show, right? He also said that he didn't want other people in the black community or in the hip-hop community to perform at the Super Bowl, so he called up Travis Scott personally and told Travis Scott not to perform. Travis Scott said, yo, I'm performing anyway, right? And in hindsight, I don't blame Travis Scott, right? Because Travis Scott knows that Jay-Z is probably, you know, gonna do something like this, right? Also, I guess he called up Jermaine Dupri and he told Jermaine Dupri to turn down some kind of Super Bowl halftime deal that I guess Jermaine Dupri was supposed to curate and handpick some of the artists that were supposed to go into the halftime show. And Jay-Z kind of said, yo, Jermaine Dupri, don't do that. Don't work with the Super Bowl. Don't work with the NFL. These dudes don't care about black culture, right? So that's 2 times that Jay-Z called other black people and told them not to do something with the NFL. And then a year later, Jay-Z turns around and does something with the NFL. One of the things that he's doing, because he's doing more than one thing with them, he's going to create a social platform so that NFL players have a platform so that they can speak about their social issues. But the other thing that he's going to be doing is the same job that they offered to Jermaine Dupri as far as helping out with the Super Bowl halftime show and handpicking some of the acts and curating those acts and, you know, putting together the stage show and all that stuff, right? So he actually literally told Jermaine Dupri not to take one of the jobs that he's doing, and then he's taking the job, right? And then he told and Jermaine Dupri listened to Jay-Z. Jermaine Dupri said, all right, Hov, I got you. I'm down with y'all. Let's stand together in solidarity. Boom. And then Jay-Z turns around and takes the job. And then you have, you know, Travis Scott, who said, Jay-Z, you wildin', and did what he had to do anyway. And yo, shout out to Travis Scott. Kudos for him, right? But the whole situation is that a lot of people have mixed feelings about this, right? So some people are thinking that Jay-Z's a big hypocrite and that he actually just did all this and you know, decided to partner with them because they are going to give him a large stake or a large percentage in one of these NFL teams. And we don't know what team it is yet. And I don't even really care because, you know, I see that it's a money move and also a power move or whatever y'all want to call it, and also a billionaire move because he's trying to continue to be a multi-billionaire, not just 1 billion. You know what I'm saying? He want more than 1 billion, right? And Jay-Z's a hustler, baby. I'll sell water to a whale. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? So can we really be surprised that he's doing all this, right? On one hand, right? And on the other hand, people are like, yo, Jay-Z is going to change things within the NFL for social justice, but you have to be in there to make the change. And I see what you're saying and I see your point, right? But the whole thing is that Jay-Z, when he had a press conference about this and they asked him if he would kneel, he kind of said, well, I think we're past kneeling, right? He didn't really answer the question. He kind of danced around the question. And it's funny that he said we are past kneeling because I just want to know like who we is, right? So, you know, and just real quick, is he talking about him and Colin Kaepernick? Is he talking about we as in all black people? And then why does Jay-Z think that just because he's past kneeling that we're all past kneeling too? Because kneeling wasn't about the inequality within the NFL towards black people, right? So maybe Jay-Z can change that. He can change that from within. I'm pretty sure he can change the landscape and the culture of the NFL towards black people, and that's cool. But the reason why Colin Kaepernick was kneeling was not because of that. It was two different things. Kaepernick was kneeling because of a protest that he personally wanted to do because he saw unarmed black people being killed by the police. Not by NFL players, not by NFL owners, by the police. So Colin Kaepernick used his platform within the NFL to bring light to something that had nothing to do with the NFL, right? So can Jay-Z change the culture of the NFL from within? Yeah, I'm sure. But is Jay-Z going to be changing the culture of the world, of America? Is he going to stop police brutality from within the NFL? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the whole thing right there, right? And so then you've got Freddie Gibbs who says, you know, I'm riding with Jay-Z, right? So, hey, man, an opinion is like an asshole, right? Everyone has it and it's okay and it's cool for Freddie Gibbs to side with Jay-Z, right? One of my best friends, right? Shout out to the King of Zamunda, right? One of my best friends, right? And I'm telling you, like, I've known him since I was like 9 years old. One of my best friends is siding with Jay-Z and he thinks that Jay-Z is going to make a change. That's cool with me, right? Let's agree to disagree. We can have a debate. This is going to be a great conversation. It's going to be a great talk. You ain't got to call me no names and I ain't got to call you no names and we could disagree and I'll listen to your point. I'll shut up and I'll listen to your point and you can listen to mine too, right? But here's the whole thing. If Freddie Gibbs was like, yo, I'm riding out with Jay-Z, y'all are wildin', you know, that's my man's, my Lord and Savior, Jehovah Christ, then that's all good, right? But he went as far as to say, fuck Colin Kaepernick. Right? And so that is where, like, I think that Freddie Gibbs bugged out a little bit, right? And it's not like Freddie Gibbs is a young dude, right? You know, it's not like it was Trippie Redd that said it or, you know, Little Pump that said it. It's Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs is 37 years old. He also is a dope spitter and a dope rapper, right? But here I go again. Here I go again. Thinking that just because you're a good rapper that you have knowledge yourself. Thinking that just because you're a good rapper that you know what's going on and you have your third eye open. Here I go again, thinking that just because you're a good rapper that means that you have something relevant to add to the conversation. I'm starting to see that just because you're a good rapper only means that you're a good rapper and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because you would think, oh, this dude ain't Playboy Cardi in it through the verses, so he's got to, you know, have, you know, a good head on his shoulder. But obviously he doesn't because you go as far as to say F Colin Kaepernick when, why? Just because you want to rock with Jay-Z? That's cool. That's cool. You can rock with Jay-Z, but you don't have to say F Colin Kaepernick. What did Colin Kaepernick ever do to Freddie Gibbs? Right? And then Freddie Gibbs goes on to say that Kaepernick took a settlement and that he didn't tell us how much he made, so F that guy and all this and that. But here's the thing, right? First of all, if I was working at, let's say, some marketing firm, right, and they fired me because of my beard, and I thought that the reason why they fired me because I was black and because I have a beard, and then I go take them to court and sue them, and now I can't get no other job, and now I'm backed up on bills, and now my fridge is empty, and I take them to court and I sue them for letting me go wrongfully, right? And then I win the case. As a matter of fact, they decide, they don't even take it to court. They decide to fine, let's just settle it outside of court. We don't even want to go to court. Let's settle this outside of court and we'll give you $100,000 for your troubles. Jonny Fastlane, we're sorry, right? It doesn't mean I accept your apology, but I'm going to take the money because I need to pay these bills because I haven't ate in 3 days or whatever the case may be. You feel me? So of course Kaepernick took the money that he settled out of court with the NFL because he needs that money to survive. And then also, usually when there's a settlement with money, you sign a disclosure saying that you are not allowed to tell the public or the general world how much you settled for. So the reason why he didn't tell us how much he settled for was because he can't under contract, or else if he does, then they'll take that money back, right? And Kaepernick needs to live and he needs to eat and he needs to pay bills. And I support the fact that he took the money from them to pay bills. If my company fired me and they want to pay me some money just to smooth it all over with it, I'm taking that money and I'm still talking shit about the company. You know what I'm saying? So Freddie Gibbs is wilding, right? And to be 37 years old, it sounds like you have a very small, young-minded mentality, which is so stupid to me, right? It sounds like you're a 17-year-old and that you don't understand what's going on out here in the world. It sounds like you're asleep. It sounds like you're seeing with these eyes, but not with this one. You know what I'm saying? And that's bugged out to me on Freddie Gibbs' case. I mean, let me know what y'all think about this and everything else in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me at Jonny Fastlane on Instagram, and y'all already know what to do. Peace.